Well, hello, everybody. It's Dave here, and I'm here with Rod Hess, the basketball guru.
Happy to
And
be here.
we just wrapped up a recording episode 302 of the Digital Dice podcast. And what do you think we talked about? Basketball. It's been a
It's my
while since
specialty.
we talked some basketball here. And again, Rod's over there on YouTube. Is it say the channel name again? It's
Rod's Tabletop Hoops.
Rob's
And it's pretty
Tabletop Hoop.
much, tabletop hoops is a very narrow subject, but I do review some PC games and some quick play games and things, all kinds, basketball simulation related. Been doing it since 2019.
One of the things that we didn't talk about on the podcast, what are some of the things that you look for in a basketball game when you're playing it?
That's a good question. A lot of people are into the first thing you see when you see a new game is you look at the aesthetics. Are the cards appealing? Are they attractive? Do you have to corner around the cards because they're too square? You and I are big corner rounding fans.
Yes, we are.
That's the initial outlook. Then you got to see, are the instructions easy to read? Like Bank Shot, for instance. That game came out just 3 years ago, and it's one of the newest ones on the market still for long play games. And the cards were beautiful, heavy card stock and everything. And then you got to look at the play action or fast action cards, see if things flow real easily, whether you're using dice, no dice. See if that works for you. Those are the couple of foundational issues. And once you get into gameplay, if you play your first quarter and you're a little slow, that's okay. You're a rookie at it. There's no time limit on a lot of these long play games. So you just got to slowly adapt to it. And that's what resonates with me. If the cards look good and you've got a game that flows really well, it's about the best combination available. So I really appreciate a lot of these creators. They really go to the nines to make, if you're going to pay 40, 50, 60, 70, $100 for a game, you want something where you're not working too hard to play the game. I guess that's probably what it grinds down to.
Yeah, it's got to, you got to have flow. When
Exactly.
we all talked about that, many times here on the channel and on the show was you got to have flow to a game. You had talked too about not having a clock. You don't like having a clock in your game, and one of the things that I like is when I'm playing Bank Shot. It's the cards are your clock, so it's counting down,
Correct.
and so as you see that stack going down, and I think what I do with Bank Shot is I created some clock numbers,
Mhm.
so every minute I can see when there's a minute left. So you start off, you get 12, and then the 11 comes up, so we're in the 11 minute, and then
Yeah.
now we're at 10. And so I kind of like to know that, so at least I have an idea where I am in
Right.
the quarter,
Well,
rather than just
traditionally, I was a clock guy all the way. I was Jim Mickey's Fast Break, and that game requires a clock because there's cards that are just rebound cards that don't turn the clock, and so you got to shuffle the cards every 6 minutes. But like you say with Bank Shot, you take a card, you have a designated number of cards for every 6 minute stretch. So I break that card deck into halves or quarters.
Mhm.
So when you use it, half of the cards, you know you're playing 3 minutes. You got it into quarters, you're playing, you know, whatever a quarter of six is. So it's just you can make your own determination because I do like to keep track of minutes played. So I do
Yeah.
always keep track of minutes played. But if I don't have to use a clock and I can see the number of clocks, and when I'm doing a gameplay, I can say, well, there's approximately 3 minutes left in this one, but yeah, there is no disc there showing
Yeah.
3:05 on the clock, and that's probably the only sacrifice you're really making.
Like I say, I'm okay with that in basketball. I mean, as long as I have an idea where I am,
Hmm.
I'm okay with that. In fact, that Fast Drive football game from Al Wilson, the new fast action card deck. Again, there's no clock there either. The deck is your clock, and
Right.
you file it down. And when you get to 5 minutes in the half or 5 minutes at the end of the game, you get that 5 minute mark, and then there's a
Right.
couple different rule changes for that. Excuse me, but at that point there, at least you have an idea where you are. And like I say, football is different timing than basketball, obviously. But it's just as long as I know, okay, I got 5 minutes to go. Now I'm in some crunch time here. I can look at the cards and kind of gauge where I am. And it's more about how many cards are left in that game than it is how much time on the clock. It really is,
Exactly. And hoops is that way as well. They give you 140 cards per half. I split it 70 for the first quarter, 70 for the second quarter. Usually split that in half, 35, 35. So every 6 minutes it's timed. And when I'm halfway through the deck, I can see the deck's getting about equal in height. Oh, there's 3 minutes right there, because you've gone halfway through that half deck. So there's a lot of ins and outs. If you, instead of slipping a card in for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and 9. There's workarounds, but I appreciate what you're doing. They've traditionally done that with Strat-o-matic basketball as well. They've always had a little slip card in there to give you a little clue when the 2 minute warning's coming up.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
basketball's
I
pretty
think they did
nasty.
that with hockey too. I think there was something you put in with hockey, and it tells you how many minutes were left and when to change the lines and stuff like that.
Sure, and it's nice to know when the starters need to come out in the NBA as well. It's like, oh, I got to get my six man in there. Michael Cooper's coming in for Byron Scott or something of that nature. So
Right.
it's good to have some kind of clock format.
There's another big basketball guy. Joe Brooks comes by.
Hey, Joe.
Good to see you, Joe.
Joe's one of my favorites. He's a longtime contributor to my Facebook page, Tabletop Basketball Board Games.
Yes.
He's posting his
Yes.
results daily. He is
Yes,
amazing.
I love. He's always got the picture up there and what he's playing and how he's doing it. And
Exactly.
I try to give it a like because I enjoy that
I
there.
like them all. Yeah,
Yep,
he's fantastic.
it's fun doing that. Again, getting back to the Strat-o-matic basketball, I got that a while ago, and I think I was doing that during COVID too. That's how long ago it was.
Mhm.
I did enjoy it, and
Mhm.
I think but again, basketball being a long play game, I think what I did one time is I took the Lakers and the Celtics, and I think I made the score 75-75, and I just started the fourth quarter
You
and
kind
played
of
it out, and that was fun.
fast track it.
And what I like about the Strat basketball game is that you got the point track, and
Mhm.
right on the table there, you can keep track of the points, and then it tells you like who gets the ball and how it happens. And I thought the Strat basic game was very, very good. I really did. And
It
if they
truly
had more
is.
seasons, I would probably play
Yes.
more of it.
Yes. I have 1990-91 I got from a fan of mine in the first couple of
Oh
years of my
wow,
channel. And it's just great. That's Larry Bird, one of his last years. The
yep,
Blazers are on a roll. And it's just like I bring it out every once in a while because I just love that old school basketball. And it plays well with Strat. And every time I put a video of Strat, a gameplay on my channel, it gets the most views. They get just,
really.
nothing compared to what you get, Dave. But if I get 1,500 views over 6 months, it's like that's good for me. That's pretty impressive. And so show there's a lot of love for old Strat-o-matic basketball out there.
Right.
It's amazing.
The Facebook group again. Uh,
Facebook is Tabletop Basketball Board Games, and that's an easy. Once you put your name in there, I'll approve you right away. If you look like you've usually a lot of them have the same group taste that I have. So I say, oh, you're in 4 of my groups. You're good to go. Approve. That's simple as that.
Here's a good question here from Rogue. One game we didn't talk about that I have not tried: Fourth Street basketball. Is that
I
one that
haven't.
you've tried?
I have not tried Fourth Street yet. I've heard a lot about it, and it's one of those games that came out, and it was in a flurry right around when Bankshot came out and things, and I just never got around to it. It's a possibility. I don't own a season of it as of yet, so there are a lot of basketball games out there. I was going to do an episode where I just came out with a list, and I had close to at least, this is historical too, but there's at least 60 different card and dice versions, and then there's another 30 that are PC versions out there that have existed over time. I've made myself a little Microsoft word list. I'm gonna have to
I
reveal that
would do
someday.
that. That's something that I thought about doing with the hockey games there, because that would be something. Whereas and maybe let's just like talk about it a little bit. Maybe you could say that okay, here's this game here, and well, this game you can't get it anymore because it's out of print or whatever. But
Right.
here's this game, and you can get it, and obviously you have your Strat and your Bank Shot. But I mean, it would be kind of neat to kind of for you to kind of talk a little bit about each game and where you can find them. And
Exactly.
we're always looking for new games. Let's
Yeah,
face it,
just
we're always looking
an
for new.
informational video like that would be so fun because then and of course I can always punctuate some of them by saying highly recommended by Rod's Tabletop Hoops. That's
Yeah,
my favorite thing to do.
yeah, yeah. It is.
Everybody's got an opinion though, right, Dave? I mean, everybody's
Yeah,
got
but
their loves and
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to endorse anyone if you didn't want to get
that's
any
true.
pushback. But you could
That's
just
true.
say, this is a full play game with like Bang Shot basketball. It's a full play game. You can play 5-on-5, or you can put all cards on the
Yeah.
table of everybody in the game and have the backups on there. The
Yeah.
game's going to take you probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, because it is flip by flip,
Where can I
back.
find it? That type of
And
thing
here's where
as
you get
well.
it. Yeah. Strat basketball, what Strat is, but
Yeah.
here's that. Here's this other game here, that you might have not heard of, or maybe, some of the Downey games and talk about those. But I think
Right.
that would be great. I should really do that for hockey myself because I
Right.
play so many different hockey games. And
Yeah.
again, some I play more and some I play less. Some I just didn't like, but you never know. If I go back to them, maybe I would like them.
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly. And like you
So
say, it's always revisiting a game. I do like that. I really like what you did with the original red boxed game of Strat-o-matic basketball. Those original cards, you came out with your own original charts to try to make the game playable because it's a really difficult game to play. It came at a
yes.
time prior to fast action cards and stuff. You really had to be creative, and the way you did that's like, oh yeah, because I just bought that game last year and I decided to try and I made a video trying to play a few minutes of it, and I ended up not completing a full game, but finishing it off with another set of the same year of a different game. So it was hard, but you
Yeah.
did a good job.
I forget how that come about because I think I bought the game. I think somebody had sent me a couple of seasons, or I think I bought a couple of seasons, and one of them was an older set. But I know somebody had sent me a couple of sets,
Yeah.
and so I was on a Buffalo Braves kick, is what it was, and I
Yeah.
said, "Boy, I'd like to play the Braves," and so I have it in an older season, but it's for the older game,
Yes.
and so
Pre
I
1978.
think I have the instructions for that, and it was really complex. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'll
Mm-hmm.
never figure this out. So it says, is there a way I can play these cards in the newer game? And I just kind of was guessing at a few things. And if you roll this, changes to that. And I come out with a sheet for that, as you mentioned. And I never tested it really, but I said,
Yeah.
this looks like it might work. And so I've sent it out. In fact, I sent one out not that long ago. Someone says, hey, I saw your basketball for Strat. Can you send me that chart? I had to go find out where it was,
Isn't
but I
that
still had
funny?
it.
Yeah.
And I just said, it says, please let me know if this works or if it's crap or whatever it is, because I haven't tested it. And I forget exactly what the conversion was. I don't remember what it was, but I just remember looking at the gold cards and the new cards, and I said, well, this looks like it's like this. And I'd rather play it with a conversion chart than try to play the old game because I just couldn't
Exactly.
figure out the
You
old
you
game.
made it playable. That was the bottom line with that. I mean, you really that game was very difficult for possessions and to see if it's a defensive column or an offensive column. But if you can just get some basics down and make it playable and have some fun, that's what it's all
Yeah,
about. Because those old cards are really neat looking. They're a little bit smaller than the modern day cards, but they were really detailed and they had a lot of
yeah.
fun little stats. They had little dazzlers on them just for getting automatic assists and things like that. But once again, it just didn't flow very good unless you did your own modifications like you did.
Yeah, I do like the new strap basketball game. I wish they had more seasons.
Oh
And
yes,
Donut comes by and he says, "Hello, Dave and Rod. Nice to see you. And watch your basketball videos all the time."
thank
Yep,
you.
yep.
I
And
love
we
it.
love Rod. Yeah, again, he's got a great channel. And Ball Guy Sports just joined your channel and just joined maybe the Facebook group is what it was. But he's looking to get into a basketball game. Yeah, we just recorded a basketball show. And so we're going to be talking all kinds of basketball, and that's you guys will be hearing that either later on tonight or tomorrow, as we release that. There, we talked about all kinds of things basketball. We actually
Yeah,
had a long chat about basketball,
in
and then
general.
we finally
Yeah.
get into the games because we were having so much fun just talking
Oh
basketball.
yeah. Oh yeah. And we were talking about long play games and short play games. So we both have opinions of that because Dave's played games I haven't even touched, and I appreciate all the input he has with them. And I've played some games since the 1970s that he hasn't touched, and so it was a nice going back and forth.
Here's one that we didn't talk about: Above the Rim Excel.
Ooh, I tried to play that just a couple weeks ago. I was having trouble with it. I'm not a great Excel guy. I could figure out you got to copy and paste your teams into the lineup. And I found that really interesting how that worked. And then I was trying to get the game going and I was having trouble hitting the play button. I'm gonna have to keep working on that game. But it's a totally an Excel based data game. And all the teams are in their own little Excel file. You copy each team for the matchups and you hit the one button, it says set the starting lineups, and then you're supposed to be able to make it play. So I'm at stage one still, but I understand how it works, but it's all totally Excel based. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with Excel or playing Excel based games or anything of that nature?
yeah, I have. I played some. I think Ron told me about it, and I think I have it. And I don't know what I did with it because I think I got it. And like, okay, what do I do?
Hmm.
It was one of
Hmm.
those things. I like to use Excel for my helpers, not so much to play the game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I have my hockey helpers, and I have, sometimes I create my own for, like I created a player of the game basketball spreadsheet, so I could just, put in the players and put in the numbers, and then it
Oh,
does all the addition for me.
that looks great.
I
That
love
played
that.
well.
That
Yeah,
I don't do much with Excel, but I
yeah.
do know how to set up, adding stuff. So if I put in a number here and a number here, it's going to give me a total, and it just
Right.
I like that because I can kind of see the totals building up. So I have a team total. So as I'm play the game and rolling the dice, I can see the team scores building. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah, you got some talent there. I just like playing other people's works on Excel. That's my favorite thing. For my finances, my wife sets up the Excel spreadsheet for my son's college finances and things like that. All I can do. I love playing other people's versions of Excel, whether
Yeah.
it's a score tracker or a basketball game or anything. But I appreciate all those creators who make Excel easy for me.
Yeah, I'm very limited in Excel, but I mean, I can do the addition stuff,
Yeah,
and it
but
just
you
kind of
added
helps me.
color. You could add the Celtics colors and
Oh
the
yeah,
Lakers colors. You're good at doing that.
yeah. I
So
like creating the
that's
scoreboards because
yeah,
you can make a scoreboard look really nice in Excel, and it's just what is that? It's just Excel. It really is.
exactly.
Have a good time with that. D. Smith in Texas, my top three replay hoops and inside the paint. Now, if I remember, you haven't played inside the paint, right?
I've not touched inside the paint yet. I've watched a couple videos of the lower, slower gamer play inside the paint, and he was really methodical. He's lower, slower gamer, but and I was looking at it, and I was a little bit confused by the play action cards. That's where this game engine gets me sometimes. So I'm going to dive into that game and try it out because I've only heard good things about Inside the Paint, and it's got some features, whether it's double teaming or a guy gets on a streak and you can benefit from that, or momentum, those type of things that a lot of games don't touch on very much. So that's a future project Inside the Paint. I love that. And you also put replay down there as well, which I visually struggled with on a couple of my videos, and fans let me know how to play after the fact. And so I'm getting better. I'm getting better, and there will be more replay eventually. I am learning as I get. I did a PC replay, and I learned from PC replay how the cards work again, but I still had to consult my charts to make sure I knew what each of those raised numbers and those foul numbers
The
meant.
great thing
So
about the PC replay basketball and baseball, you can roll your own dice in there. So
true.
you don't even have to set up the cards. You can kind of play using the computer as your tabletop and still feel like you're playing cards and dice.
Certainly. Or you can do a combination I noticed on that. It's like, I don't like running the fast break on PC replays. I'll let the dice do whatever it wants on that and let that play. If I want to do an individual player posting up against a defender, then you can type in your own dice as well. So you can do a combo of that. That's really very flexible.
Nice. The inside the paint, if it's anything like the inside the crease, which is the hockey game, it's probably fantastic because inside the crease hockey, which the PC version would be my favorite hockey game to play if you could simulate the other games within a season. And currently, you can only play the one game. And so, if you wanted to do
Oh,
anything at all, if you wanted to play a season replay, you got to play all the
it's not
games.
that advanced yet. So maybe
And
down the road.
yeah, and that's just not going to happen. But as
Yeah.
far as what I'm kind of getting at, the relating the basketball to hockey, if the basketball is as deep as the hockey, it's going to be fantastic because the hockey, I use that sometimes during the summer to practice my play-by-play because it gets so deep
Is
compared
that
to
right?
other hockey games. Other hockey games, it's like pass, interception, shot, penalty, and this is like he takes a shot, the shot is blocked, it goes into the corner. These two
Mm-hmm.
guys go into the corner, they battle for the puck. This guy gets it. He tries to pass to the left wing. The left wing is checked by the right wing, and you're looking at all these numbers, and it does all those things that other hockey games don't do. And I actually get to practice play by play when I do that, and I can't do that with any other game. So
How fun.
I'm kind
How
of hoping the
fun.
basketball game is as good as that.
Yeah.
Doug says he replay basketball is good.
Oh, it's
Yep,
widely regarded as one of the best combinations of accuracy and gameplay. It really
yep.
does. I've got to learn it a little bit better. That's all it is.
And Ron says I just discovered Rod's channel. He does a great job. I think he knows every basketball
Thank you.
game there is. He's getting pretty close. He's getting pretty close. You know.
I've got a collection. I've got all basketball games, and I focus on those, and I hope to add a few as we go. But once again, I stick to some of the games that I'm very comfortable with, so I can actually put out videos and then slow release some of the others.
Good to see you, MVP. And Sean says, I applaud the people that play the hockey, football, and basketball. Much longer playing. And even on the PC, it is much longer playing. Yeah, it is. I mean, and so, Rob, when we talked to you, I don't want to give away the podcast much, but you said you played some APA baseball, which is, a quicker play game. And now
Yep.
you're going from APA baseball, which some people can play in 15, 20 minutes. It probably takes me close to a half hour or 40 minutes to do a game. But now you're going from that to hour and a half 2-hour basketball games.
Certainly, certainly. I find that those basketball games are so enriching compared to baseball in some ways. I'm still a baseball fan, a traditional baseball fan who loves the 70s and the 80s and all those years of great baseball. And APA was really, I've played full Cincinnati Reds seasons, as I mentioned in the podcast. But I just kind of drifted to basketball and said, if I'm going to focus on one, it's going to be a hoops simulation. And then all of a sudden, I got the fever because I played hoops after playing Jim Mickey's traditional fast break. And then I tried bank shot, and then I've tried replay, and now I've tried uh, history maker, highlight maker hoops prime time. It just starts rolling, and I enjoy all certain aspects of every single game. They've all got their strengths and weaknesses. And of course, you're going to lean toward a few that you'll play more that you can play easily for, say, a Rod's Tabletop Hoops video that I can go play and go. But I also haven't ruled out PC games as well, because in a pinch, you got 15 or 20 minutes to spare. You can just pop it on pop it on your screen and just play some of that as well. So mostly cards and dice, though.
Yeah, and I will agree. I echo what you said. Every game does something a little bit different, and sometimes you're in the mood for this, and that's why it makes the table. And
Right.
and there's no perfect game, but every game does something very fun. And again, the two games I play Apple Hockey and Hockey Bones. They are really, really similar games when you break it down.
Mhm.
But one does this and one does that, and sometimes I'm in the mood for this and sometimes in the mood for that, and it's just that little bit of a change. But sometimes that's what you want. You really do want. They're almost identical, but
Yeah.
sometimes I really like this and sometimes I really like that, and I
Yeah.
can't decide. Sometimes I can't
Yeah.
decide which one I want to play because
There's a
but
little characteristic that keeps you returning to that game.
yeah, it is.
Right.
And I get so many games like that it
I
just
do too.
sometimes it's just well, this plays a little quicker, so I'm in the mood for a quicker game tonight, or I'm
Yeah.
in the mood for this, or let me ask you this too. Let me. I just got a couple of comments here. Matt comes by. He says, "Oh, you made it to the big time, Rod." I don't know if you made it to the big
This is
time, but
my moment in the sun right here.
but Matt, thanks for coming by.
Just happy to be here.
What do you think about? Okay, this is a big discussion we have all the time on here. Um, Games that have everybody carded, is that a big deal to you? Having when you play a game and it's like you got game A and they're like we have everybody that played its card, and then you got game B. It's like, well, we're gonna take the most played guys, and the other guys you're not gonna have.
Coming from a fast break Jim Mickey game of the 1970s, early 1980s, I really enjoyed. I The first year of Jim Mickey's game, he came out with 10 players per team, and I bought the game in retrospect because I already owned seasons beyond that. But it really bothered me that they didn't have an 11th or 12th man. And then he started after season one, he started throwing 11, 12, 13 guys per team. And I was happy with that. Well, we get to this era, flash forward 35 years, and we got guys like Joe Bryan who are coming out with not just the team they played with, but each team they played with, and a combined card on top of that for baseball or basketball. And it's like, is that too much? No, I'm glad I have those cards,
Yeah,
but I have to pick my top 10, 11, 12, and then let the other guys flow off. But it also, there's today's gamers a little more selective in playing as played seasons. Well, Joe Schmo played in games 1 through 7 of the season, but then he got waived. Well, Joe Bryan's got your card for you.
yeah,
So there are some definite benefits from having all the cards. I haven't dove back into payoff pitch. I have never bought payoff pitch baseball because I love the concept of payoff pitch baseball, but I think there's like 1,200 or 1,300 cards you've got to like categorize and corner round, and there's just like too many cards. Basketball's a smaller league and
yeah.
less players per team, so I can handle it with basketball, but I don't know if I could do it with
Yeah.
baseball.
Is but
So,
is that a big is that it's obviously, I think if you ask anyone that plays, they say yes, I would love to have every guy carded. I don't
right.
think anybody would say no. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but that becomes a bigger issue or a lesser issue for individual people. For me, it's kind of a medium to a big issue. I will gravitate towards games that have everybody carded, depending on what I'm doing, but it doesn't mean I will never play games that don't have anybody carded. For example, Apple Hockey, they don't card everybody in Apple Hockey. So
Yeah.
when I play Apple Hockey, I need to go when I go into that, I need to know that they're not going to have everybody. So I don't want to be frustrated if they don't have somebody. They have most everybody, but not everybody. And so I won't be able to do an actual full season replay with APA if I want to be completely accurate because I'm going to be missing guys. And so
Right.
some other guys are going to get some ice time that they never got because someone else was playing. Whereas
Yeah.
Hockey Bones has everybody.
Wow.
And so if I want to play a game with a guy that played 1 or 2 games in the NHL, I got to play Hockey Bones because he's there. And it's the same, like I said, with Joe's game with Payoff Pitch and Bank Shot Basketball. You get everybody, and I like the it is important to me. It's not a deal breaker, and it's not something I would never play a game that didn't have everybody. But if I like to play the games that have everybody, so where are you on that scale? It's like, okay, I got all these games, and I can have everybody, or I'm missing people, and on your
Yeah.
scale, where is that?
I'm not a guy like with NBA today. The teams fortify themselves with 15 players at a time. So there's 15, and some rosters that were really bad had to make a lot of trades, a lot of wave players who filter through the team during a year. They might have 23 guys during a full regular
Oh
season.
my gosh, no, there's I buy mostly the 70s and 80s for Bank Shot, right? I have a lot of
Yeah,
seasons with that.
yeah,
I did buy the last Celtics season, which is what, 23, 24.
probably. Yeah,
Okay. So I bought that for the specific purpose of wanting to play a modern basketball game because all I play is the Bird Dr. J era. Okay.
certainly.
So I says, okay, I bought that one season. That's the only season of Bank Shot that I didn't round the corners because there are so many cards. And I says, I'll round them as I need
Yeah,
to. That
right.
being said, I think the 70s and 80s, I think the most guys I had was like 16 or 17 on the basketball team,
Sure.
right? So I could corner everybody and be done with it.
Yeah,
There was a team, and I don't know if it was Minnesota or Golden State. There was a team in the NBA for 23-24, and the stack was like this. And I went
sure.
online, they had 40 players,
Yeah. They
four
don't fit,
zero
they don't
on the
fit in the
roster.
packet. You can't put them in a packet because
Yeah,
there's
and
so
and
many
and,
darn
and
cards.
Joe had them all too. And but when I was but like you were saying, it's a bigger roster, but it's also way more players now. Now again, 40's kind of ridiculous. That I
Yeah.
imagine that they were a last place team and they were just throwing in guys at
But
the end of
there's
the season.
also two combined cards typically in there as well. Like the combined, if you decide to add them to the packet,
Yeah.
there's a combined card for the full season as well. But I've traditionally lived with team combined, like Mark Vasilio and Hoops. They put the full season, like a guy played 30 games with one team, 30 games with another. They put him on the last team he played on. So they don't
Hmm.
have a guy for each team. You can always take the card and put it
Oh
on the
yeah.
other
Yeah.
team for the first 30 games. A little less clutter. It's not a deciding factor for me. The game itself, in conjunction with how deep the rosters are, is probably the bigger picture, where Hoops does only 12 guys per team. Although I've heard with the modern teams, he does offer an extra players set for at least one or two of the last 3 years. I'm not sure, and so that's true as well. But I like it, the game's got to sell itself, and then the rosters, that's kind of like a secondary feature. If I do want to get something full, like Joe Bryan's, some of those basketball seasons that I've got, a couple that I bought, I don't have too many, but some of them really are full of players, or that thick stack of cards. And sometimes it's like, don't really need it unless I'm really going to play a team season, and you want to have that the five card 5 game sample of Joe Shablotnik or whatever his name is. So that is a factor, but not an overriding factor. It's not my biggest factor either.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. And Rogue combines says that Above the Rim
Above the
has
rim.
drop down menus to select teams. Okay, I didn't know that. So
Ah,
so
okay.
so
I got to
that
remember that too.
that's
Okay.
good as well.
Okay.
And D says Above the Rim is basically souped up 10 status pro basketball game, but better.
Base 10. Okay.
Base
Yeah.
10. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
Ron also says Excel cell games seem nice, but I have no clue or patience to learn the Excel program. You kind of don't need to know Excel when you're playing the games. You just got to know where to click for whatever you need to do,
Right.
is
Right.
what it
And
is.
that
So it's
above
not.
the rim game, though, like I said, I just tried it a couple of weeks ago, and I had a little trouble getting the game to start. I got the rosters loaded. I got the starting lineups loaded. I'm on the cusp of playing a game. I'm ready to
I think
go.
I got to that point too. I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I
Well,
click on? Where do I go? So once you know where to click, I don't think you need to know Excel. I think it's just kind of in Excel, so you don't need
right.
to know how to sort and
Yeah.
move
And it
things
had a
around.
had a deep library of teams and seasons too, as I recall. I mean, if you could play some 1970s stuff or 1960s teams, and they got all the rosters. You just drag them into the copy and paste them into the lineup. So I'm kind of looking forward to give that game a go in terms of being a what I'd consider a PC game, I guess, on the
Right.
computer.
Yeah. Let's see. Rogue also says Inside the Paint is the cousin to Above the Rim. The two
Oh,
creators created them around the same time.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
And D comes by and says there are some similarities between Inside the Paint and Inside the Crease. They're pretty much identical, because you got the hockey and the basketball. It's the same kind of format. Everything works kind of the same. So, yeah, I would say that. Let me see. And Rob says, his sister lives out in Oregon.
There are people that live out here. It's crazy. We have a population. I've been in touch with Ron over the last couple of days. It's good to hear him popping in.
Some Roads comes by. Good to see you. And Sean's like, they better dang well provide all the cards. There's not many players there. Well, again, you're talking about increasing the cost of the game because of the extra cards and the extra research to do it. Again, if you got a guy that played 3 games, a lot of people say I won't even miss that guy, and
Right.
a lot of times you don't. It's like he'll never come into play. But so many times if you see my channel, I like to just play a random game. So I'll go on the reference site and I'll be like, this looks like a fun game. Let me pull it out, and and inevitably, especially if it's a hockey game and I'm playing Appa, I'll be missing a guy. It's like, oh man, of course. And I click on him. It's like, he played 5 games. No wonder why he's not carded. But no matter what game I pick,
Right.
It's like, oh man. So then I gotta pull out Hockey Bones and play that game because I will have that guy.
Right. It's kind of like this era based on the ability to do that with Basketball Reference available. We're a little bit spoiled. Back in the 70s and the early 80s, Appa was giving you your 26 guys, and that was 20 regular guys and 6 extra players. And so I'm sorry. Sometimes pinch hitter Manny Moda didn't make the team or something like that. It's just one of those sad states of affairs. So we're loving it now. We're loving it. We are
spoiled,
now.
but it is. I don't know. It's just. I guess that's just always been my personality. When when we were kids and we would have something, I'd have to have everybody in the set, whether it was like the Planet of the Apes or the Star Trek or whatever it was. If we had, if they created 7 action figures, they were called dolls back then, but we're going to call them action figures. So if we had 6 out of the 7, it was like I couldn't rest till I had the full set. Just, I guess it was just me. I just feel better when now I have everyone. Now nothing's missing.
Yeah. No matter if I want to play an as-played lineup or not, I am ready to go, and all the cards are there. I understand that.
It's just something I've always had.
Yeah.
AP comes by and says, "Hi, Rod. I am enjoying the old DOS hoops that you mentioned last week."
Oh, excellent. Hoops 4.15. It's a DOS-based game. It said copyright 1986 to 1995. That is one of my favorites of all the ones I reviewed within about an 8-day span. I reviewed about 6 or 7 different PC games, and that one was for what it was. You just put the lineups in there, you go and you play, and you just have a blast with any ABA team. And I think it's for like NBA teams from about 1970 through 1990 or so. It was just a lot of fun, 1994 or so. Just a good, quick game. Once again, like you say, a quick game you can pick up and play. You can even make a video of if you want to. So it's very easy.
Yeah. Oh, here's something that we haven't talked about yet. And this is brought up by Gus, Adirondack Gus. He says, hoops or CB2K with Action PC is great. Now, I'm assuming he's meaning the manual entry for the stats. Have you?
Right.
We didn't talk about that on the show, I don't think. Talking about using like iScore on the iPad or Action PC or a Replay PC or anything like that to keep track of your stats with cards and dice. Is that something that you do?
Right. Well, traditionally, I had an Excel spreadsheet that someone on my tabletop basketball board game site made up. His name was Darren Smith. And it's a nice little click, and the stats just populate the whole thing. You got to type in the lineups. Well, in the last 3 months, Mike Ignatosi's come up with a Purple Wolf basketball spreadsheet, and I am all over that. I am putting I'm having about three meetings every month, 3 to 4 meetings every month with him because he wants my input. For some reason, they think I'm the basketball guru. And I'm trying to say, well, I've played a few games with this, and you input stuff a certain way. There's a basketball logger box about that big on your screen. You kind of place it where it's convenient. And you can type in field goal attempt or basket and foul, and it kind of shoots the fouls to the right player or the assist to the right player. It's really coming together, and he's working in version 2.2 right now, and he's doing a really good job. He's done it for baseball, he's done it for hockey, and
I
he's done
worked
it
with
for
him
football.
quite a bit on the hockey.
Yeah,
We had
yeah,
several meetings on here
yeah.
and got that to where it needed to be.
Nice
And
guy,
you
but
know,
I'm going to be flowing with that not only because it's easy to use, but it also has. I have a bunch of score sheets from the 1990s and
oh
1980s
yeah,
where I partially started a season, and I've input a lot of those into my into the stat tracker, and now I've got full stats ready, and now I can keep score of the games that I'm going to play in the future. So I'm just getting into it. The replay, it's like it's revived my replays, basically, what it's
nice.
going to end up doing. So I'm really looking forward to playing that and look forward. I've tried to feature it on a couple videos so far, but it's still early in the game. 3 months ago, this didn't even exist. He says, I'm thinking of putting together a basketball stat tracker to go with my hockey one. He said it was very similar to the hockey one as far as format goes, the way the game is played and the way the
The hockey
stats
one's great.
are. Yeah,
I just
great.
haven't attacked a long play hockey project yet to use it. That's my
Right,
thing. Is that
right.
so? When we were talking about it, I had actually started a 92-93 Boston Bruins season with Hockey Bones, and I still think I have all the score sheets over here, and so I could end up putting them in. But I just haven't had a long play project to go put them in. I've been enjoying my onesie twosies and my playoffs, and I don't need something like that. But I do want to do someday. I want to get a nice long hockey project going, and
Right.
that would be perfect for it. It
But you
would.
don't have to play it in once. Traditionally, people who had these games in the past, in the 70s and the 80s, they'd say, okay, I'm going to play the Boston Celtics, their whole 82 game season. This is great. Okay, I'm 10 games in. And it's like, oh, God, now I've got to do stats. I got to add them up and see
Yeah.
how Larry Bird's doing after 10 games. This takes all that worry away. And
Yep.
that's what's so cool about it. I entered 13 games. I'm going to enter 13 games of the 1986 Celtics that I played in 1995, basically. And now I'll be ready to go for the next game because it's got complete schedules.
Yeah.
It's got complete rosters from
Yeah. Yeah.
1950 to 2025. It's like, this is insane. Are we in heaven here as far as keeping stats? I think it's
Yeah.
going to really hit the mark. It's going to be very popular and it's free. He's not charging. He's just
Yeah.
doing this out of the goodness of his heart.
Yeah.
And so
What I
I
liked
applaud
about the
Mike.
hockey game is that you could actually just put in the final scores.
Mm,
You know, he
mm,
has the whole schedule there. So if you didn't
right.
want to do stats, you could just go into the schedule. And
Yeah.
I think there was something you clicked on to say, look, no stats, just put in a score.
Oh,
And
that's sweet.
so that way there you could just kind of
You
keep
got the
scores,
standings. Yeah. And the
and
standings
you
will
would
be
just
updated.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just have standings, and it'd be like, boy, that's something to
That's
do too.
nice.
You know, so that way there you could play games and just put
Yeah.
the scores up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and some road says I round all my cards too. You have to do the
There we
corners.
go.
You
This
have
is
to,
the
especially the bank shot and the payoff pitch. It's those cards are just the corners. Just they cut you wide open. Those cards
right,
are so thick, you
right.
know.
Yeah. And you got
And
to
once
do
you
with
do
the
that,
action cards
I
too,
did
right?
the fast action cards. I did
Yeah,
all the fast action cards,
exactly.
and it took
It's,
me a few days. But once
they're
they're done,
slightly
they're
easier
done.
to shuffle. They're slightly easier to shuffle up the.
Slightly,
Yeah,
slightly. They're ways I can't shuffle with the corners because they just keep getting caught. When you
exactly.
when you round those corners off, it's like a deck of cards. It just and
Exactly.
they're beautiful,
It's a thing of
beautiful.
beauty. Thing of
It is
beauty.
a thing of beauty. It's not a sickness. Corner rounding is not a sickness. Okay, it's a preference, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
I know. I quoted that as an addiction on one of my videos last year, so I think that's where he's coming from with that
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah, this is that Rod. This is that Rod. He's the hoops guy. Yep, he's the hoops guy. And I now round because of God. Yeah, rounding is the best. I mean, look, we have a whole bunch of people here. You know.
I am such a curator of my cards. I put almost, with the exception of hoops, I put almost all my cards in envelopes that I make myself, print them out on my old 25-year-old dot matrix, or not inkjet printer. Not dot
Yeah,
matrix would be interesting, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Inkjet printer. I round all the corners and I have them all organized. That's like part of it's just my routine. Every time I get a new set of cards, it's the cutting, the rounding, the envelopes. It's just, and rinse and repeat. I love doing that.
good times. Here's another game we didn't talk about. Status Pro, Status Pro basketball. Have you played much of that?
What's my attitude towards Status Pro? I made a trade. I had Status Pro Baseball last year from 1988, and I hadn't played it in about 20 years. Good game and everything, but the person I traded with had Status Pro Basketball from 1988. And I got an extra game in the deal, and I got Status Pro Basketball, and I played a couple of games for my channel. And it's one of those traditional games that people like because there's simulated ball movement where you get the ball, a player gets it, and in this position where he gets it, say it's in the front court, he can't shoot with the highest rated field goal rating. So you got to advance the ball at least once, and the next player can use his. There's a it's the difference between like an open shot and a guarded shot. Basically, you get a better chance of making the basket if you advance it the first time. But of course, with that second player that gets it, you can say, "Oh well, he's not a good shooter. I'm going to pass it one more time." With that, it sounds great, but you also risk throwing the ball away or turning the ball
Yeah.
over. So people have for decades loved that simulation. And I played a couple games of the last year and I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite game of all, but I see why people enjoy that game. And I had 1988, and that was the era of Bird and Magic. And I think I played the Lakers and Celtics because it was just a game that went down to the wire, and Larry Bird nearly pulled it out, but I think the Lakers. Larry got a 4-point play in the final minutes. Is what
Oh,
what
wow.
happened, but the Lakers somehow snuck away with the victory. But that's what you want when you got those two great teams. You
Oh,
want
yeah.
a good game.
Yeah. I think that's very similar to Status Pro Hockey. I played it, but I haven't played it in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, you get the puck in certain area, and then but you can try to get closer to get a better shot, or you can make a pass, and
Right.
other people's assist rating come into play to help you with the shot or something like that. So I think that's kind of how the hockey works
Right.
too.
Right.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Ron says, my grandkids are the same way with collecting McDonald's Happy Meal figures. You got to collect them all, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get one, you can't stop.
It is. You just feel so much better when you have them all, you know.
Yeah.
And again, that's
exactly.
why I like when I get my seasons, I like to have everybody, and that's why the old baseball seasons with Apple were great, because you did get everybody with Apple. Nowadays, there's, again, we talked about on the show, there's so many teams,
Oh,
so many
yes.
players that at some point Apple
Yeah.
said, look, we're going to cap it at this. But if you want the rest of the players, you can buy them. But
Right.
and
Right.
so that's why I haven't bought too many new seasons, because like, I'd have to have everybody. I just can't help it.
Right.
It's
But at
for
least
me.
at least they'd be corner rounded already for you, correct?
Yes, Apple is corner round. Yes, the only thing I have not corner rounded Strat. I think that would be
It doesn't
fun.
work on
No, it
every
doesn't.
single set. If your
No.
writing and words come to the edge, or you feel like, I don't know if that's going to be right, So it's all in your gut. It's all a gut feeling whether you want to corner around or not. It's totally
Yeah,
optional.
there's a couple of cards I have, and I forget what games they are, and I don't. It's like, nope, not going to corner those. That's too close.
Right.
Too
Right.
close. And D. Smith says, yeah, that was my spreadsheet you used to use.
Darren Smith. Yep.
My spreadsheet is amazing.
Yeah, it's really easy. You just click 3, and the guy's got a 3-pointer. There's little click boxes in each field where each player is like turnover, missed free throw, made free throw, and it's just, but you're doing each one. If it's an offensive foul, you got to give yourself a offensive foul and a turnover, that type of thing as well.
Yeah.
But it worked really well for a number of years for me. When I was trying to play some of the cards I tried to make, 68, 69 ABA, and I needed to run some testing, some beta testing for myself, I found Darren Smith's sheet. And it's like, oh, I can get quick stats. And when the game's over, the stats are done, which I'd never really used. I'd always been writing things down, just like Joe Brooks does to this day, writing the names and writing the plays. And then you got to add up the stats at the end of the game to see how many points, rebounds, and assists these guys have. But Darren Smith has changed that. Mike's Purple Wolf is going to change all that too. So
Nice.
Modern technology.
Nice. And Ball Guy Sports says, we need a fast play basketball with a fact deck. Well, it's funny you bring that up, because ST Patrick is having his matchup basketball come out, and there's going to be a fast play version of that where you can also get full stats from people too. And I haven't seen exactly how that works. And he's slowly been releasing some of the instructions on his Facebook group about matchup basketball. But supposedly in this game, he wants to get the full game down to between an hour and a half. That's his goal. I think he wants to be close to an hour. But you can also simulate as much as the game as you want with some quick rolls, and then fill in the scores and then pick it up from there. So if you wanted to sim the first 3 quarters, you could roll the dice and blah, 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 do whatever it takes to get those scores, and then continue the game in full play mode. So that will have a quicker play mode, and I'm pretty sure you could even quick play the whole game if you wanted to. And if so
That's
I would
that's
imagine
some
that. Yeah.
Flexibility is a nice thing. I love to see when a creator comes up with an alternative thing, like as we talked about earlier. Bankshot has that place all your players on the board and try to play the game. That was unheard of in tabletop
Yeah,
basketball sims.
yeah,
So hopefully ST comes up with some creative things. He's certainly a bright guy. I
yeah.
know he's coming up with something good.
I think what it is that you put in your top. I think it's 10 guys. I don't know, maybe 12. I forget. And then as you're playing the game, it'll tell you it's going to be this guy here. It's going to be this guy here.
He gets
Sometimes
that
it'll go to the
stat.
bench guys, and so you won't have to to do anything with your roster. It's going to be like the football game.
Interesting.
Yeah, the
Huh.
football game. It's like you check linebacker 1, linebacker 2, linebacker 3, sometimes linebacker 4. So at that particular play, this is the guy that was in there, and that's a way around. Excuse me, of substituting, right? Substitute, whatever it is. So bringing in the guys is that he just tells you, okay, go to your roster, look for this guy, and every now and then the bench guy will come into play. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
AP comes by. Rod, for Mickey's fast break game played with Access, are there complete historical seasons available?
No, this is one of the games I did during my PC week and a half of games. It's Will Massey's fast break version, and it's got complete cards. It's got a database of about 1,750 players. You can create your own teams, but there are no teams or seasons in it. So it's kind of like a sandbox. You're just kind of you want to create an all-star team like I did. I created ABA and NBA all-star teams and played a game. That's probably where it's at its best. Once again, I think there's a card entry method. So if you own a fast break season, you can create your own cards within the game. I think that's probably a mountain that no one has climbed yet, but you could be the first.
Oh, fantastic. Ron also says, I'm new to the hobby. From what I've gathered, it has progressed greatly in a short period of time. And Ron and myself talked about that all the time. We feel we're in the golden age of gaming right now. There's games being created, season being created. We still have the old reliables that we still play and still use. But now you get people coming out with these, Excel spreadsheets and Dave Cook and Action PC. Now you can, input the stats right there. There's just all kinds of good things happening in the hobby.
Oh, certainly. I like the fact that we can draw on our past games for these new creators to follow. I know that Mark Vasilio of Hoops took a lot of Jim Mickey's ideas and used that, and they still happen. But we also had that little gap, like Dave and I discussed. In the 70s, there was a nice heyday all the way into the late 1980s, and then the computer PC and video game consoles kind of took over, and the only men left standing were APA and Strat-o-matic. And so it's been rebuilding over time. I wish our age group, our key demographic, wasn't age 55 to 64. I hope it gets younger as kids get tired of being on a computer screen all day because they use it for their homework, they use it for their TV watching, their YouTube watching. Maybe we'll have a renaissance in that respect. But I certainly love all the new creators that have emerged, like ST Patrick's doing right now.
That's one of the things that we talked about on the show was, back in the day, you'd be, working at a job and you come home and you wouldn't mind playing a video game because you've been at your job all day at the table or in the factory or in the warehouse or whatever it is. And nowadays, a lot of us are on the computer all day and we want to get off the computer and go to the tabletop. So it's completely reversed from what it used
flipped.
to be.
It certainly has.
So you kind of wonder that maybe some at some point people will want to get off the computer and get on the table. I think that playing the table it's just much more hands-on. It's much more personal. It's much more intimate, if you will.
Oh, sure. And there's plenty of more room to make errors. I will let you know that. I've done that with my videos.
Oh, yeah.
You make an error, you give the points to the wrong guy, or you have the same team because you go and get a glass of water, you come back, who had the ball?
Where are you? Yeah, where are you? Did I kick off yet? Did I tip off? Who took the shot? Did I roll for this free throw yet? Oh, yeah.
Or you have a jump ball between the first and the fourth quarter. It's like, okay, who got the first tap? Because I know the other team gets the ball the second and third quarter. I didn't write it down.
I have this little notebook here, and I make my notes when I play football. I write down who kicked off first.
Right.
And I never forget that. I would go, okay, so Atlanta kicked off, so now St. Louis gets the ball or whatever it is.
In football, it makes a bigger deal than in the NBA, that's for sure. You got to have that possession.
Yeah, but I still would do that with the NBA when I play basketball. Who got the ball first, and then that way I know who gets it later on. So, yeah. And Ron says, I round and sleeve. Oh, he's part of Sleeve Inc.
My
He's part of
goodness.
Sleeve Inc.
I've never been a huge sleever. I don't think I've sleeved anything. I received an APA. I went on eBay about 5 years ago and I bought APA 1975 because I'm a huge Cincinnati Reds fan, just the basic cards. And every card was sleeved. I was like, I can't believe this. This guy really took good shape of his cards, but I ended up using those sleeves for something else. I de-sleeved them all, and I just let it. I love them. I love the cards as is for the most part, but I understand if you are a sloppy eater, you don't want to grease up your cards either. So I appreciate that
The only cards
perspective.
I ever sleeved, I got a Downey football game, and I ordered the printed version when they were selling the print version.
Hmm.
And the cards were decent size, and the PDF ones, the cards were a lot smaller. So I got the bigger ones, but they were printed. And I think they were inkjet printed because
Oh,
it's a fast action card game, and and my hands were all full of
the
colors.
wear on the card. Oh wow, coming
And
off
I'm
on your
like,
hands.
wow. So that's when I emailed him. I says, hey,
That's
look,
where it makes sense. Yeah.
I says, I'm playing your game, but I says, my fingers are covered in ink from the inkjet. I says, could you send me the PDF version so I can print them out? So I did, and I printed them out on my laser printer, which there's no ink coming off the laser when I
That's
print them
better.
out. But the
It
cards
bakes
were
it in.
much smaller. So what I did is I pulled out the cards that they sent me that were getting ink everywhere, and I did end up sleeving all the fast action cards there. So now when I play the game, there's no more ink on my
Yeah,
fingers, and
I
I'm
know
not wearing out the
people
card.
who play hoops. They like that too because the card stock is very durable, but the cards just don't slide off as well. So sometimes they like to sleeve them so the cards shuffle and they move.
Yeah,
They slip better. Yeah,
yeah. So it depends on the card, but I usually don't sleeve. And Dr. Jim, he's part of the Corner Rounders Anonymous as well. Yep. So
glad to see it.
yeah,
Two
he's a
thumbs
full
up.
fledged member. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
He attends all the meetings,
you got to do it.
and oh boy, Ron is the envelopes guy as well. Yes,
Ah, sweet OCD. That's what it is.
I
It's just
like if you can see behind me over here, all my Appa stuff. I do get my my Appa envelopes from Chris White. He does them all up
oh
for
yeah,
me, and I
he
really
does a
enjoy
good
that.
job.
He does. I know that's one game we forgot to talk about here, and I meant to talk about on the show, so we'll talk about it now. His VSU basketball game.
Oh yeah.
We didn't talk about that, and then
I
Chris, I'm
don't know much
sorry.
about it, so I love to hear what your perspective is on
What
it.
I so remember when I was talking about one of the games where it tells you how much dice to roll. It's like, okay, so this team rolls this many dice, this team rolls
Right,
this many dice.
right,
That's
right,
kind of
right.
what it is. So the basketball is kind of neat. It is each team has a number. That's how many dice you roll. But then I think you subtract. I don't know if it's the point you subtract or the dice you subtract from the defense. Okay, and
Okay,
that gives you your final amount to roll. But for basketball, because you need such high scores, you're rolling. Maybe 20 or 30 dice to get the score for the basketball game, and
interesting.
it's pretty wild. I actually broke it down in the quarters. So let's just say I had to roll 25 dice. I broke that 24 dice. I broke it down to like 6 a quarter to get my scores or whatever it was. I divided by
Mhm.
4 and I built the game up that way because I like I told you I like to go quarter by quarter. But yeah, so in that basketball game, you get to two teams. You do a quick bit of math and it tells you how many dice you're supposed to roll, and you're rolling 5 pounds of dice, and then
Right,
you're adding them all up because again you got to get somewhere between 70 and 140 points out of those dice,
right.
depending on the team. And
Pretty quick play. Pretty
it's a
quick play.
it's super quick play. You just figure out how many dice you got to roll, and the hard part
Right.
is just adding them all up. But it is super fun, just playing a quick play basketball like that. And again, I broke it down to quarter by quarter, so I'll just roll a few. And here's the first quarter, and then here's the first
Yeah,
quarter for this team, and
it's nice
it,
to have a line score like that. Yeah.
yeah, it gives me a little. It's a little, see how the team did during the game.
Right.
But that's another fun play game. Is from Chris White, who does all my Appa envelopes,
Yeah, I've
and
seen his
some
work.
of
He
the other
does any
envelopes.
sport. He does any
Oh
sport.
my god,
Really
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. He created a couple of old Appa seasons that Appa doesn't have. So if Appa doesn't have it, and I really want it, I go through him. 1899 Cleveland Spiders. That
Yeah,
season I
it's not
got.
a popular one.
No, no.
So-
And I'm really we talked about the obscure leagues, right? Quite a bit.
oh
He's
yeah.
he's got the USFL for
Oh
football,
sweet.
and he's got the WFL. There was only 2 seasons of
World
WFL.
Football League. Oh
Yeah. Now
gosh.
I don't
Yeah.
know much about them, and I don't know a lot about the guys in those leagues.
Yeah.
But as an obscure football team guy, football league guy, I'm tempted to buy those football seasons from him to get them on the table. They are
Yeah.
expensive because the football's got a lot of cards,
Oh
and he
yeah.
does such a good job with the front and back printing on them. But
Well, USFL is really cool because it had a lot of players that jumped to the
Yes.
NFL, and that
Yeah.
was the amazing things. You just had some great running backs, the Jim Kellys and the Steve Youngs
Yeah.
of the world. Those guys
Yeah.
became great in the NFL.
Yeah.
So,
That's what
but
makes that fun. And the WFL, the World Football
who did
League,
they have?
that was the one in the 70s. The only people that I knew that they had a couple of guys from the Dolphins. It was Zonka come over
Oh, Larry Zonka,
and
really?
one other guy come over from to go there. But that was like the league that like the police come in and raided the locker room after the game to they took the shoulder pads right off the guys because they weren't paying the bills.
They were bankrupt, huh?
Yeah, they
Wow.
were. So they were. It's like why the state police would go in and bother taking shoulder pads out of the locker room is
That
beyond
doesn't
me.
seem right.
But that's how it was in the 70s. It's like, okay,
Right?
this guy's not paying the bills, so we're gonna send the police in and confiscate all the
Yeah.
stuff. What are you
Right.
gonna do? Sell that? There wasn't even eBay back then. I don't know what you're gonna
Yeah.
do with all that stuff there. But just the
Oh,
idea that some teams didn't finish the season, much like the ABA, you had a couple teams that folded there, and
in
that's what makes
'76.
that. Yeah, that's what makes that. It just makes it so much different than sports
Right.
today because
Right.
you had that teams would start and fold, leagues would start and fold, and so
Yeah.
there's a certain lore with that
I
that
wish
I
we had
like.
two NBA or NBA type leagues right now. It's just there's 30 teams. There's so many. Maybe you have a lower level league, or maybe just face them off against each other in the playoffs or something. But just let the two leagues play each other. Have the All Star game be between the two leagues or something. I don't know. Something needs to be done. There's so many players and so many teams these days. I'm so traditionalist, I guess, in that respect. I like 17 team leagues, not 30 team
Yeah,
leagues. I can I
yeah,
can count I can count the players. I can see the players. A little
yes, yeah.
less, yeah, a little less work when you're trying to corner around and make envelopes too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little behind in the chat, so guys, I am
Okay.
going to get to the chat here, so just bear with me. And Ball Guy Sports says, Dave got me hooked on rounding. Can't imagine doing any differently now. It's like clipping counters on my war games. It is when you round. I get people laugh, but when you round the corner, it feels like a completely different card.
Yeah, looks like a machine done card in some
It's just
respects.
and I just go one by one. I looked into a machine
Yeah,
that did bulk stuff, but it's like, my one by one works great and it takes me a
yeah,
long time and my hand hurts and I got to take breaks. But when I'm done, my cards are awesome and
yeah,
they feel completely different. Like when I get payoff pitch in and I scatter them on the table and I go to sort them out and they're all
yeah.
rectangular and they got the points everywhere. As I kind of play the teams and round them down, it's like they're so
Yeah.
nice. They're
Half the
so
time I'll be watching an old school NBA game of the same season. I'm cutting the cards up on YouTube and just like, oh, memories. This was great. And I'm just going through the cards like, gotta look up their stats. What the heck did this guy do? His card's ridiculous. He played 5 minutes or something like
yeah,
that. The
exactly.
card's
Yeah.
got a wacky rating on it. So you just never know. And that's the coolest part about having like a Joe Bryan game in particular where they have
Right.
every
Yeah.
card. Anyone who played a minute
Yeah,
gets a card.
I was doing a thing for a while with Hockey Bones. Is I would find a goalie that played one or two games, and I would play them
Hmm.
on the channel. And there was this one guy. His name was Loisel. I forget his first name. I think he played for like Winnipeg or something. And when I looked him up, he was 18 years old.
Oh,
Winnipeg stuck him in a game at the end of the season because they were just terrible. So they brought him up, take a look at him, and he gave up 10 goals and he lost.
oh my
Poor
God.
kid played
10
one game in
goals.
the NHL, but
So
again,
his card is not going to be very good.
no, and I played him, and he actually won the game. Good
Did
for
he?
him. He won the game on my table,
Oh
and
my
it'd be
gosh.
and like someone said, it'd be fun if him or a family member like stumbled on that video of you playing his one game and have
Right.
him get a win. But so
Yeah.
that's what's fun about having everybody here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's incredible.
how about your thoughts on March Madness from Avalon Hill?
March Madness. I never played out March Madness because March Madness doesn't have individual player cards. They probably have individual team ratings. It's one of those box games from Avalon Hill occurred in the 1990s. I don't have a clue. They probably got each team's probably got certain ratings, and you probably once again, as we've discussed, a lot of these games were made for two players to strategize against one
Yeah,
another. And I'm guessing at March Madness is probably that. I was not a big, huge Avalon Hill, other than playing that status pro basketball and some status pro baseball. I didn't get into the ones that did not have the players, the individual player cards. And you and I agree, it's like there's no other way to play a game without having at least some kind of semblance of player cards, unless you're playing one of the quick games you mentioned.
I think it depends on the game, and if you can have a team sheet full of guys that you referenced, then
Yeah, as long as there's guys on it, but a
yeah,
lot of these don't. They're just general strengths and weaknesses. They
right.
couldn't get the player likenesses probably for the game either because there's probably some kind of amateur rule about not including college players in a real game simulation or something. I don't know, but
Clinton said he bought a card shuffler just for that purpose with the rounded cards. Yeah, they are great with the
oh,
rounded cards. They have the card
sure,
shuffler. Yep. It's just like a deck of cards. It really is. And he
exactly.
actually laminated the cards that he uses for his Status Pro fax.
Really,
That's
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 fascinating.
yep, that's
Yeah,
kind of cool too.
they'll last forever.
Yeah, Cutter says he doesn't know why, but PC replay basketball lost his luster with him as his PC game, and now he likes above the rim.
Oh,
So
interesting.
for him,
There
that's
is a
cool.
new, there's a new above the rim, right? A real, isn't there a modified, not just the Excel above the rim? There's actually one you can purchase, I think, that is actually a much smoother running game than the Excel
I,
version. So
I think so. I
I
think
think
I
that's
did
what they're
hear that.
referring to.
I
Yeah,
think I did hear that.
right,
Okay.
right,
And Clinton also says he goes he follows your hoops play, and he's going to use Mike Ignatowski's Purple Wolf for his stat sheet.
right.
Yep,
And
Mike's got some
I've
good stuff.
highlighted that briefly this year, and I'm going to come back to it and have some fun with that for
Yeah, I
sure.
want to see more of that myself.
Yeah.
Ron says, "Does Bird's card trash talk as well?" Oh, yes, it does. It's got a special role for trash talking.
See, if you played one of those play games type of games like Highlight Maker Hoops or something, I'm sure that the Avalon has come up with some kind of talking rating set up for his next
Oh yeah,
game because it's always qualities of the players. It's not quantity and stats. It's always about some kind
yeah.
of
It must have
aspect.
the trash quality.
Yeah, yes, that or the ones who get the most technical fouls or the
Yeah.
ones those all the things you don't think about with a typical game. It's typically in a play games game.
If you ever get a chance, go on YouTube and just search some Larry Bird reaction videos. And when they
I've
talk to
seen them.
oh man, when they talk to the other NBA players, and they're all older now, so they can laugh about it. But
Right?
they'll be like, I'm sitting there. I come out and to guard Larry Bird, and Larry's like, "You got this guy guarding me? Are you kidding me?" And he's talking to my coach, and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"You
yeah.
got somebody better that can guard me?" And the guy's like, "Oh yeah."
Right.
And then Larry would torch me and put it in. He's like,
Yeah.
I told you to get somebody better
Oh
to
yeah.
guard me."
Xavier McDaniel has plenty of stories about it's like Larry will say, I'm going to take you down to the corner right here. I'm going to pop a turnaround jumper on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he would go and do it. He
Oh,
just
the
prove
stories are great. It's
it.
just
They
like,
are great.
they come out of the timeout and Larry would be sitting there in front of the visitor bench. He's going, I'm going to stand right here. The ball's coming to me, and I'm just going to put it in, right? And there's nothing you can do about
Exactly.
it.
In
And
not
he
so many
would, and be
words.
like, oh, son of a, you
Yeah.
know,
For 12 years, just doing
yeah,
it over and over again.
yeah.
Playoff game, all-star game, regular season game. Larry apparently was the biggest and the wittiest trash talker
Yeah.
of all. I mean, Gary
I
Payton.
didn't realize that. Again, we watched them, but, we couldn't hear them,
It's true. It's true. It's gotten more magnification with the social media, I think, and in YouTube than when he was actually playing the game. I
Well,
don't
now that we
remember
know with
Larry.
the inventions of like podcasts and stuff like that,
Yeah,
all these older guys are sitting down and they're telling these stories that
right.
we didn't really hear when we were younger. It's like I
Yeah,
had no idea Bird did all that,
yeah.
but
And
it makes
we need that. We need that for historical perspective. We
yes,
need
yes,
people to reserve that piece of history before some of these guys pass on. We never hear what Byron Scott thought about Larry Bird or
yeah,
any of these podcasts. All these guys are doing podcasts from the 1980s, and it's so entertaining.
yes. It is great. I really
I can watch them for
yeah.
hours.
They got Julian Edelman, who used to be on the Patriots. He's got one, and he has some of the old Patriots on. And they talk about Tom Brady and like how much of a jerk Brady was when they first
Oh,
joined the
interesting.
team, because Brady was like, "Look, you need to do this. If you can't do this, then you're off the team."
Right?
And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's like here's this guy yelling at me. He's like my first day on the team, and he's telling me to do this and do that. And I guess one time the guy he was supposed to run an out, but somebody was in his way. And so he cut in and the ball either got intercepted or went out of bounds. And he come back to the huddle and goes, if you ever cut inside again, you'll never get another ball from me.
That's
And
incredible.
he's just like, well, the guy was in the way. He goes, I don't care. You're supposed to get to the outside. Figure it out. And
Oh,
that's
that's
how intense Brady was with these
yeah.
guys. Yeah.
He was probably the Michael Jordan of football, basically. Because I heard
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Jordan was really tough on his teammates as well. He got into a fist fight with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, one of the most non-assuming, probably most agreeable guys in all of sports. And how's Michael Jordan punching Steve Kerr? I don't, I
It
don't
was,
know.
it was
You
so
got to be
intense.
competitive. You got to have an edge. And
Yep.
that's
Yep.
was the key to Jordan's and Brady's
Yeah.
successes. That's for sure.
Yeah. Jeff comes by again. I'm catching up here in the chat. People, bear with me. I sleeve my replay basketball cards for shuffling purposes. I would never corner around the players. Again, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Some you don't want to corner around.
Right.
You know.
Right. I haven't.
Um,
Yeah, I haven't done my replay. I got one season of replay basketball, the ABA, 76 ABA, where they're having the co-op project. So I'm going to have to jump in on that one of these days. And yeah, I don't think I corner around it, but I think they look really good as they are. Have you corner rounded any PC or replay basketball, or do you have replay basketball?
I only have it on the computer,
Oh, okay.
so I
Okay.
don't have
They're
any
really
cards.
they're really nice cards. They're kind of small, and it's like I'm 50-50 on rounding that. But the PACs, play action cards, fast action cards, definitely they looked much better rounded, so I rounded
Yeah,
those.
nice. Let's see here. Lake Effects comes by. Good to see you, Lake Effects. Um, and Jeff says, I sleeve my replay basketball fact cards for shuffling. Oh, I might have already posted that. I would never
Yeah,
think. Well, okay, I think I already posted that. Um, a 61-year-old rookie here, says Rob. Yes, it
yeah.
is. Um, and D. Smith also says, sleeve the cards to shuffle. I thought I was the only one. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Crew fan comes by. Good to see you, crew fan. Late to the party. Well, we're here waiting for you here. We're talking some basketball tonight. Much awaited basketball talk here with Rod Hess. He's
Oh,
the
wow.
basketball guy on YouTube, and he's the basketball guy on Facebook with his group there. And we'll have him repeat his groups again before we head out here today. And Rob says, I have a lot to make up, a short period of time to make it up. Thanks for the welcome. Yeah. Go join his Facebook group. It's so fun. A lot
Yeah,
of
we
people
got a
in there,
good group in there. A lot of people contribute their items, and you can catch up on the replay, ABA replay co-op, or anything other people have added their groups to my group. So we got 1,800 people in that thing, and most of them are really good people.
Nice. Here's a good question from Crew Fan. He goes, I still don't have a basketball game. What do you guys recommend?
I've never gotten that question before. Have you, Dave?
But I guess it's a tough question to answer because
It is a tough question.
I mean, are you okay with a longer play game? What is your wheelhouse for seasons you like to play? Are you college? You like
Yeah,
NBA? I have two I would recommend just because that's what I play. I would recommend the bank shot basketball for a long play game because that's just the only one I play. And
right.
Joe's got a bunch of seasons you can get. It's a longer play game, but it's relatively easy. I think.
I concur. I think a bank shot is a great starter game. Maybe someone who doesn't have all the knowledge about pro basketball and the ins and outs of the game. I think it's pretty straightforward with bank shot. You
Yep.
can't go wrong. Hoops is for maybe an established person who kind of understands how the fast break works, the inside and outside deep shooting works, and it plays really smooth as well. But I think bank shot's a really good starting point, and it's new. And as we discussed in the podcast, Joe Bryan is an incredible guy to work with. You never think about the people who are creating being very good communicators, and Mark Vasilio of
Mm-hmm.
Hoops and Joe Bryan of bank shot in all of his games. They will help you if you have any problems or if you have any customer service issues. They get back to you on
Yep.
Facebook, Delphi forums, wherever it is.
Yep.
They'll solve your problems.
Another one I would recommend would be regular season basketball from Marco. That's a
Sure.
PDF only game. And there's a basic mode where you can just get a final score, and then there's a full play mode where you can sit down and calculate all the points that you get in the basic mode, and a
Yeah, you
rebound.
can make it as detailed as you want, or make it as
Yep.
simple as you want.
Yep, it gives you, you can just get goal points and assists, or if you want to get rebounds,
Yeah,
and it does every. It again, there's a little when you roll the dice. Depending what the dice roll is, it's going to go to this column here. It's going to tell you here's how you allocate those points.
right.
Here's who got the points, who's got the assists,
Yeah,
and it spells it all out for you. And it's really, really fun to do that. So
yeah.
regular
But
season
it's
basketball is
completely different than bank shot and hoops. It's not a
yes,
long play game. It's an instant results game. It'll say Connie Hawkins 0 for 2, 1 for 1 from the line. Write it down. Next
yep,
play, you write it down for somebody else. And you're right. It's really, really well thought out. And believe it or not, the couple games that I played, the accuracy was pretty good as far as field goal attempts per game. And the game results, I had a couple that went down to the wire. But
yep.
like we said with some of these games, if the dice are hot, if the dice are high rolling dice, so upsets can be made
Yeah.
in a regular
I
season
need to go back
basketball.
because I always played the basic. I need to go back to that regular season basketball and play out the full play again because I only did it a
Mhm.
few times, but I did enjoy it.
Right.
And the other one I would recommend from Downey Games is the player of the game basketball, which
Hmm.
doesn't feel like a basketball game like the other ones that I was talking about. But what you will get is you will be able to play a game in maybe 15 minutes and get a final score and know and all your stats in there as well because you're kind of building that score up and you're rolling dice to see who gets how many points. And I didn't like that game, but now I really, really like that. It's one of my go-to basketball games because, again, you don't need to know anything about basketball. No
Right.
positions, no timeouts, no nothing. You're just rolling for a final score, but you're rolling everybody in the game, and it
Right.
makes it so fun. So those would be the three I would recommend.
Right. Yeah. Because if you don't like tabletop stuff, you find that all those are disappointing. You can go to the PC and you can play simulations of those games or very similar games if you want to play on a computer. And that's just your other option. If cards and dice just doesn't, if it's too arduous for you, because some people start playing the cards and dice and they get frustrated. Maybe start with the computer version of the same game, like
Yeah.
Hoops or Replay, and then work your way
Replay
to the
PC
card.
basketball is fantastic. It really does. It kind of walks you through.
I was playing that in the demo version the last couple of weeks. I was very impressed with the game engine. It is quick. You can quick play a game. You can speed up a game, which I didn't learn until after I did the video. You can do every single thing on there. The stats are instant. The schedules are all built in.
Do you know
I
what you
mean,
can do too with that? If you're playing like a regular season, if you're playing a season, you can go into that day of all the games, and you can tell it to stop at a certain point if the game is close. So,
oh
for
wow,
example, you're playing Boston, Cleveland, right? And LA, Portland is playing, and Chicago, Milwaukee are playing. You can go in and say, if this gets to within 5 or 6 points with 2 minutes left, stop the game. So
that's
you're playing
fascinating.
you're playing your game and you're checking the scores of the other game. And if it hits that parameter, it stops. So you get done your Boston Cleveland game. Now let's go to LA where they're playing Portland with 2 minutes left. And you can
Oh
go and finish that game.
wow, it's
I
like
mean,
flipping the channel.
it
It's like
is,
it's a
and you go
TV.
and is pretty darn cool. You can set whatever parameters you want to go and have the game
Oh
stop because it's
my,
simulating, and I think you can even schedule the times for the game too, like because you can have the East Coast game start first and the West Coast. I think, but
ah,
it does some fun things if you really want to get
right,
into. Like I like the TV aspect of it. You know what I mean? Hey,
yeah.
let's go and check out some highlights here.
Certainly,
So that
certainly.
does
I
does
found
well.
that game engine just so slick and quick.
Yeah.
It's like it was made in the
Just
2020s. It was like
keep
really
hitting the
smart.
button, bam, 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 and follow along. He's got it. Shot, miss, rebound. This guy,
Yeah,
fast break, good.
yeah.
It's and you follow right along. It's really
Any
kind of fun.
small little sound effects, the rim rattle if you miss a shot, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
rattle, rattle, rattle.
And
Okay.
the ABA's got the red, white, and blue ball.
Oh, does it? Oh my
Yes,
God.
yes, it does. We found that out. That was great.
Another game I'm going to have to invest in.
Yeah,
Golly.
I know,
Way to
right?
go, Dave.
Now I got to play that some more myself. And Lake Effect says I use mail envelopes for Al Wilson cards, coin envelope for play, and Ziplocs for others. Yep,
Yeah.
I do something similar. Oh, okay. It was Zonka, Warfield, and Kick that went to the WFL. I
Ah,
thought it was Kick, but
Jim
I wasn't
Kick.
sure. Yep,
All
and
right.
Cutter says the same thing. So they moved to
Yeah.
Memphis or something like
Yeah.
that. And David C comes by. Says, Rod, thank you again for mentioning highlighting Computer Basketball 50th Anniversary Edition a couple years ago.
Ah, Dave
Great addition
Zielinski.
to your collection.
Dave's a regular contributor on my Facebook group, but yeah, I got in touch with Wayne Wisco. One of those being part of of this movement, this community for 7, 8 years, and Wayne Wisco called me from Illinois, somewhere near Chicago, and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about my computer basketball game that I created as a college kid back in 71, 72, 73." Had a phone conversation, and we've had a really good relationship. He re-released the game with new cards, a few modifications, but mostly just reliving the past. It's an old school game, but it's just neat to be able to respect. This is where basketball simulation started back in the early 1970s. It's
Nice,
really nice guy, Wayne Wisco.
nice. Um, and he says, I knew something I appreciate about Rod other than his knowledge of basketball games. Go Reds. Yep.
There it is.
We talked a little bit of
Cincinnati
Red
Reds. Yeah,
on the podcast. Yep.
right.
Um, and Lake Effect says, I love the NHL's emergency goaltender rule. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, that when they get that deep, but they got to go to the guy in the stands, but it makes for good storylines, and it doesn't happen often. That's the
I
thing.
wouldn't think.
It doesn't happen often enough, to make it a big deal,
Right.
Let's see. And Rogue says his 84, 85 Celtics have never lost in his gaming. Fantastic.
Oh
Fantastic.
wow! Wonder what game he's playing. That's what I need.
Oh,
to
here's another basketball guy. Dave Little used to do the Friday night action PC basketball regularly. He says once he retires, he's going to do that again.
It's going back. Yeah, that's great.
So I used to look forward to that on Friday nights. I'd be down here playing something myself and have Dave on doing the basketball game. And he plays some old school basketball on his channel.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, we all liked that from Dave there.
Yeah.
And let's see, back in the chat here. And Rogue says he's actually cornered the replay baseball cards and they look nice.
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
Interesting.
I'll think about it for my basketball. I'm not sure.
And Floyd comes by. Good to see you, Floyd. He says, I downloaded last season's NBA season for baseline basketball. That's the John Turnbull game that came out. I really like that. That's another game I didn't talk about. I forgot to talk about that, John.
I haven't gotten into that myself. Once again, it's kind of a roll a lot of dice type of game and get the results.
Yeah, I completely whiffed on that one. I have a fictional basketball league going with baseline basketball, and I can't believe when I brought out my games I should have created a list because I always forget, and I've already forgotten 3 games that I play. But baseline basketball is really fun. It's kind of a segment by think regular season basketball where it's like, okay, you're going to get 3 or 4 rolls in the first quarter. So and it tells you how many dice you're going to roll. No, you go to the cards and you find out, are you reading off the offensive card or the defensive card? And then there's a column with the dice roll to show you
50-50 ball almost, that type of thing.
And it's like, so let's just say, okay, I'm rolling off the offense. My roll is 12-6. I go to the card, 12-6 is going to be X amount of points. And so you segment by segment. And there is a way to getting some stats if you want to, but for playing a quicker play game, it sets up really quick. I have a 4-team fictional league going. They're all the teams are in Ohio, and I'm just having fun with it, just rolling the dice. And I'm not worried about it.
Does he have the dice rolling tray, that big vat orange tray? I think I've seen it online. You can actually, he sells a specific tray for dice rolling. It's really cool.
I think he's got.
Looks like a little arena.
Yeah. But baseline basketball is really fun. It really is. Cool. And again, he can sell you the game, or he can download it and print it for free if you want. But it's I think he's got football, basketball, hockey, and I think now boxing. And I think the basketball is my favorite. I just like how it goes. You see the runs. Sometimes you roll, and in that segment you get a 0, and you're like, oh my gosh, this team come up with nothing. How can you get a nothing at this point in the game?
Right.
And you see the other team coming back, and very enjoyable. Yes, baseline basketball. Again, it's a quicker play game. And I would recommend that one too. I guess that's.
But once again, the dice have to be hot. You got to be rolling hot for an upset to occur. It can happen when the dice are hot like that.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game because, again, it's offense or defense you read off of. And, of course, if it's off the offense, there's a better chance of getting more points.
Right.
And it's just a very enjoyable game. Very easy to play, very enjoyable.
Nice.
Ron says, Larry asked everyone who's going to finish second in the contest. Yeah, I remember that. He still had his jacket on, right? He didn't even take his jacket
so
off.
Cocky.
He's coming in second,
Just stun the locker room. It becomes a taller tale every year, I think.
Yep. Crew fan says, I don't mind longer play, so bank shot might be good. Check out bank shot. Yes. The cards are fantastic. But
what do we suggest, Dave, before you go further? With bank shot, a lot of his stuff comes in PDF, but I would almost not recommend for the FACs and the fast break cards.
No.
Get those fast break cards. If you want to print out a PDF of some basketball cards, maybe. But I love the quality of the basketball cards.
Yes.
I'd avoid the PDF. I have some of the PDF. I printed out the ABA season and my CBA season as well with the PDF, and it worked in a pinch because they were really dirt cheap. They had a sale It
Yeah.
was a Thanksgiving sale or something, a Black Friday, and I got the cards for like less than $5, and it was neat. But it's like, card stock is just a little bendier than the actual
Once you
card.
get something in from Joe Bryan, you'll never print PDF again
Right,
from any of his
right.
stuff. It is so good. And yes, the fast action cards are great. The board that you get with the game for the table is great.
Right.
Yes, or order the game.
Yeah.
Order the actual game. Spend the
Yeah.
money on it because you're gonna be cutting fast action cards forever. So
Oh,
don't even bother. Get the
yeah.
good fast action cards. Yeah,
Exactly.
and get one season. Get one season of Bank Shot with the
Yeah.
game, and you will love it. I think you will.
Yeah.
And if not, the quality is so good you can probably sell it because the quality is that good. No
Yeah.
joke.
It's a newer game. It's got a lot of resale value.
Ron back here again. He says, I want to
Ronnie's
spread
on
my wings
fire.
into basketball, but I definitely need ABA seasons and 70s NBA. Yes,
Yes.
I've been enjoying some ABA stuff too. I
Yeah.
just have been,
Hoops has got ABA. How many? I don't think
PC Replay basketball's got ABA.
exactly. I'm just wondering about card and dice. There's not a ton that have ABA, and I'm just trying to think who else does.
There's a Downey basketball game too.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what it's called now. I think it's got the player cards. I don't have it, and I think it's got fast action cards. So I think there's another one there for Downey that might have
Yeah,
ABA.
I've got a new one as of today. I just met another creator. His name's Jeff Cowan, and he does big league manager games,
Okay.
baseball, football, and basketball. And he's doing printouts of games. You got to get his email address to get in touch with him. But he's got a big league manager basketball game that's reimagined from a 1960s and early 70s games with the same old cards, ABA
Oh, wow.
and NBA. But he's got a new set of rules. He went in with 2 or 3 other creatives, and they redrew up the rules of Big League Manager basketball, which apparently was an arduous game, but now is actually a pretty cool game. So I'm going to sneak that into one of my videos, get
Ooh,
his take on that. I haven't played the new ones yet, but he's setting me up with a sample of the game, so I'm getting ready to play that.
nice. I can't wait to
BLM
check it out.
basketball.
Nice. Let's see. Crew fan. He said regular season and player of the game also sound interesting. Yeah, check them all out. Player of the game
Yeah.
is the cheapest of them all, I think. And you can probably buy that for 10 or 15
Yeah.
bucks from Downey and give that a try. Again,
Yeah.
it's a very mathy game. Okay, it's not so
Mhm.
much you're seeing who gets the basket. You're kind of rolling to see how many points everybody in the game gets, and then you
Right.
factor in home court and defense, and then you get your final score. I like math. I like rolling dice. For me, that
Yeah,
works
it's
out
a
pretty
limited
well.
number of possessions type
Yep.
games, both regular season
Yep.
and that one.
And check out the Baseline Basketball. Go to powderbluesports.com, and he's got all his games over there for free. You can download,
Johnny stuff.
some seasons in the game for free. You can print them out and read the instructions. He's even got score sheets. He's even got a spreadsheet in Excel that does all the math for you if you want to do that.
Yeah.
I prefer to roll my own dice and keep my own scores. I don't use the spreadsheet, but it's there if you want to. But yeah,
Yeah.
again, I forgot about Baseline.
I love a good demo too. If someone's going to give away a little bit of the game to let you test it first, that's a win-win in my situation.
And Ball Guy Sports is Replay's website always seems to be down.
Interesting.
I don't remember it being down, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
And DD Mike comes by, just finished watching my Thunder win in Chicago and tuned in. Want to say thanks to Rod,
He
for all
loves
the
OKC.
great video content and a great Facebook page. Yep.
Yeah, he puts it on my Facebook page. OKC winning those games. Yeah, they're the defending champs, so he's got bragging rights for the next few months.
Good for him. Yep. Good. Thanks for coming by, DD Mike. And AP says player of the game basketball is also great. Yep, that's the one I really like too. And it's an amazing Facebook page. Yep, I'm part of it. I like when people post over there. I think was it Joe Brooks does a lot of posting every day. I like watching his stuff and keeping track of that.
Yeah, he's got about 5 different replays going on. It's crazy. WNBA,
Nice.
NBA, a lot of stuff. Good stuff.
I'm loving this chat because basketball is one sport I have nothing for in my game collection. Yeah, and that's kind of why we did it. I've been trying to get Rod on forever, and finally we connected tonight. I had work off tonight, so so I said let's chat some basketball tonight. So we've
Happy
had
to
a
do
good
it.
time talking. Again, we had a full podcast that we recorded that'll be out probably tomorrow by the time I get it out. But again, I like doing these post game shows when we do this here, so we can actually talk to the chat room and talk a little bit of what we talked about, and then expand because there's always something we forget. Again, I forgot about the Baseline Basketball. Love that game. I got a whole fictional thing going with that. In fact, so I got the 4 teams, right? And I got the two in the cities in the north and the 2 cities in the bottom. So I have a north and a south. It's only 4 teams, but I still do that north and south. And they're all going to play each other twice, but like back to back, like home and aways, home and aways. And I'm going to just have a quick season and quick playoffs. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the dice to see if I have any expansion teams.
Huh.
And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but the better teams are going to probably stay. Probably like 95% chance of staying. But if I roll a 97, maybe the top team has financial problems and they move, and the bottom team, let's just say Columbus finishes in last place. Well, they only have a 30% chance of staying, or they're gonna relocate. And then I'm gonna roll the dice. How many teams do we bring in? Can I expand the league by a couple of teams to get, again, it's one of those things where it's completely fictional and it's completely whatever I want to do. In
Sure,
fact,
you're the commissioner, not just the coach.
and in fact, in this league that I got, you can have a tie.
Oh, interesting.
There's no overtime. So if it's tied at the end of regulation, you get a tie. Obviously, playoffs I'll have to play out. But because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do about overtime, because I didn't want to be there forever like I do with baseball, going 14 innings in baseball. So I said, something, you can have a tie. At the end of regulation, we're tied. But again, my way, right?
Exactly.
We have a good time.
That's the best part of these games. You can make the rules. You can alter the rules. You can alter the way the game is played.
We have a good time with it. Yep. Rogue says 4th Street basketball board game has a red, white, and blue basketball marker. Comes with the game. I want to check that one out. I have the football. I haven't unboxed it yet. A listener of the show sent it to me, and I want to unbox the football and take a look at it.
Doesn't the 4th Street have a board where it's got like ranges where the shot is being taken?
Yeah,
different little bubbles.
Yes,
little bubbles
I saw those. Yeah, I think the football does the same thing. So it's depending where.
Yeah, and the cards kind of have a little grid. So I think you roll probably 2 dice, and one's the column, one's the row, and it tells you what happens. Is there a foul drawn, a missed shot, made shot? I've seen it. I haven't played it, but it definitely sparks interest for sure. Something to put on the list.
Yep, I wanted to check that out too. And Floyd also says, I wanted to play the game basketball for the 24-25 season, but they never come out with it. Yeah, some of the Downey games don't come all the way up to modern day, which is too bad because they do have some great games and people still play them and I still play them. And it'd be nice to have like some of the bigger games, I think like Game Winning Drive for football that they do. And some of the quick play hockey, they'll bring it up to the new season. But yeah, play the game basketball. That game needs more love. It really does. JAA comes by. Two Legends Meet. Thank you so much, JAA.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks so much for that. Todd B comes by and says, Rod, I enjoyed when you went to visit the Jim Barnes family.
Oh, it was Jim Mickey.
Jim Mickey, okay.
Fast Break, Jim Mickey.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in Illinois, and I did a couple videos on all this stuff in Jim, how Jim did his thing. Like I was mentioning in the podcast, how Jim, all he had was a calculator, calculated all the cards by hand. It's just so incredible how accurate that came out, just with him being an amazing wizard with the calculator.
Nice. And yes, how could you forget about baseline basketball? He has that. I know. I haven't played it in a few weeks, but it is so good. Baseline basketball it is so good. And Floyd says Red Ice Hockey from Turnbull is a fun game too. Yep. Yeah. Rowdy comes by. What does Rowdy have to say? Bank Shot is a great game. The college sets are done by St. Patrick for the game as well. Yes, that's the other thing. The matchup basketball coming out this spring for St. Patrick. That could be the next great basketball game. From everything I've seen of that, it looks like it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I think it has college and NBA as well. So
yes,
we'll see how it works out.
I think he kind of did the NBA because of me, because he loves college. He's all about the college. But I said,
I was on the email with him too, and I said, "Well, Joe Brooks and I like NBA. You realize that, right?"
Yeah,
sticking the needle in.
There's a few of us. A little suggestion here, a little whispering in his ear. Come on,
hint. You want my dollars?
Yeah. I know, right? Okay, sorry, I just read that one there. And Clinton says, what I've learned is go ahead and do the PDF, and after you print the pages, laminate before you cut. Yeah, I think, that might be a good way to do it. Yeah, laminate before you cut. That's the way to go.
That's first class.
And Cruz says, I would definitely go printed, so thanks for the bank shot. Yeah, you will not begrudge getting anything printed from
the price difference is totally worth it for the time it takes to try and cut every one of those darn things out, especially the huge stack of fast break cards.
The fast break,
and the regular ones, the action cards and the fast break cards.
There's a ton of cards you get with that, and they're perfectly cut and they're beautiful. So you'd never be able to recreate those in Meta. how much you would save, you'd never get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's just
You'd
not
have to
worth.
line up the card backs with the card fronts. Yeah, that'd be a deal breaker for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. No thanks. Yeah, no. Yeah, so definitely get that. In fact, I played the baseball game Payoff Pitch for years, and finally I ordered the actual printed version from him, and it's so good.
Yeah,
Just the instructions are beautiful. The charts on the cards are beautiful.
yeah.
Everything is great, and so I mean it wasn't that expensive, and it's like something. For years I used the PDF and I printed out my own stuff, and I found these broke down one day and I bought the set from him, and I was like, oh man,
Mhm.
it's so nice.
It
So
is
all
nice.
my stuff I just threw in the trash.
Right.
And Roger Rett comes by. Good to see you. And the Duffer Man joins as well. Good to see you guys.
Cool.
And what's he? JAA over here. Hang on, I'm trying to find you here. JAA also says real life basketball. That's the one, the real life basketball. I couldn't remember the name. That's the
I
one that has
think
the cards.
that's what I was thinking when you were talking about that Downey Games
I
game. Yeah.
couldn't think of the name. Has ABA, and I think Player of the
Okay.
Game does too. There's a good quick sim, 10 to 15 minutes with stats. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, he's
Uh,
done a video on real life basketball. He owns that.
oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I wanted to get that, but then they started offering the print because I think that's a fast action card game. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
they got some big ones. They're like real long, thick, fast
yeah, so
action cards.
sometimes I only want to get the printed version especially with the fast action cards. I don't want to print fast action cards.
Oh, sure.
And Pete comes by. Good to see you. And he's got a little basketball logo there, so he's a basketball guy. Because grew up playing a lot of Status Pro. Love Bank Shot these days. Both are pretty long games. What full play with individual player cards would you recommend with a shorter playtime than Bank Shot? I don't
Ooh,
know
that's
you're going to
hard.
find one. I
Yeah.
don't know if you're going to find one. Again,
Yeah.
it's
Because hoops would be about the same time as bank shot. I have no idea unless you really want a quick play game. I don't know. And Dave, you know more about the quick play ones than I do. It's that's a
again
blank slate.
the regular season basketball
Exactly, which is
will
a
get you stats, and it's a quicker play game, but it's not individual cards.
right,
Um, the new one again, matchup basketball from ST Patrick. That's going to be team sheets, not individual cards, but you will get individual stats with that.
right.
Um, I don't know if Strat-o-matic basketball cards and dice would play quicker than Bank Shot. I don't know. I mean, but you got to figure in, no matter what game on the table, you're factoring all the possessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's kind of like when you got a football game, and there are, like alpha football takes me a while to play, and there are some that play a little quicker. The Solitaire Pro football plays a little quicker, and season ticket football plays a little quicker than APA.
Right,
But for the most part, I mean, but you're talking instead of 2.5 hours, maybe an hour 50. You know what I mean? You're
right,
not. It's not. You're not cutting it in half. Is what I'm getting at.
right. Because that
It-
time of possession is the essence of any basketball game. If you have to do so many possessions and they take a long time, that adds up so quickly, and
yeah.
the next thing you know, you're playing for 2 hours. So
Yeah.
I just
Well,
don't even look at it. It's a long play. Basketball generally is best as a long played game. To suggest another game would be really. Stay tuned. I got a couple things in my email box I've been sent. One was a very short play game, and so I haven't had a chance to try it yet. And that'll be on a video soon. I will have. I've just got to break it out. Got to find the time.
it's kind of like when I talk about the football games, is that you're probably getting 60 plays per game for each team.
Mm-hmm.
Is how
Mm-hmm.
football usually goes. So that's 120 plays, maybe even minus the kicking. So you got to roll dice for 120 plays. If you can do it in a minute, well, that's 120 minutes, right? That's 2 hours.
Right.
If somehow you can get it done in 30 seconds, now you're at an hour, which is, to try to roll dice and resolve plays in 30 seconds and then move on to the next play, you got to
Right.
be moving,
Oh,
and
sure.
I don't even know if you're enjoying the game at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Rowdy comes by and says ST's new matchup basketball should be a little less time. He's trying to get it down to an hour and a half. Yes, he is.
That's the goal of most long play games. You can get something done in less than an hour and a half. You're
Yeah.
doing your job. You're doing
Yeah.
your job.
Yep, it is. And Floyd says, "Don't let the Blues trade Robert Thomas." I know, right? There's a lot of trades going on. It's a trade deadline's coming
Is
up.
it? Okay. That's good
Yeah.
to know.
Pete says 60 to 90 minutes is good. I'll have to look into matchup basketball. Thanks. Yep, he's going to be announcing that at his conference, IndyCon, pretty soon. Here's another one from David. See, is there a basketball cards and dice game that is flying under the radar that you would recommend getting?
That's a hard one to do. I mean, I've always little games, small developers, Crunch Time Basketball by Bradley Logan. It's kind of been one I've mentioned to Dave in the past, but that's been out for a long time. It's all PDFs, but once again, not a lot of these are available just by doing a Google search for them. But Crunch Time Basketball is one that I always kind of liked, even though it's a very simplified game. You can probably finish a game in probably an hour if you really haul butt. But other games are very, very difficult to remember. I'm like I mentioned earlier, that BLM basketball by Jeff Cowan. If we can get in touch with Jeff Cowan and he allows me to show his email address, you can talk to him because he's very receptive to emails, and he will. You can get that game as well. But I've got to play that a little bit to see if it's good. But under the radar, I think what we've got out here is really pretty good. I think Bank Shot's really a very. I've upgraded my feeling on Bank Shot since the first time I played it, because I'm usually a detailed stats, a very structured type of player, and Bank Shot just got a little bit more and more fun as I played it more. I really
The
thought,
second time I went back to it, I enjoyed it. I
yeah,
fought with it because I was
yeah,
trying to play all 10 guys on the court.
yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
when do I go to this guy? When do I go to this guy here? And then there was sometimes it was like, give it to B2. Well, what if I don't have a B2? Where does the ball go? And when I talked to Joe, face to face in Colorado, he goes, either give it to this guy or give it to this guy. He goes, you're not going to break the game.
right,
And then I felt so much better about it because I'm trying to play it like exact, and I don't want to make a mistake
right,
here. But he's just like, it's not going to matter
yeah.
because you can
There's some
give it to
flexibility,
give it to the guy that has the ball, or give it to the highest shooter if you want.
right?
Either way is fine. And once I started doing that, it took all the pressure off because that's where I
Yeah,
was getting stuck. And now it's like, all of a
yeah,
sudden that game just moves now. It really
yes,
does. So when I went back to it a second time, I did. For me, David, I would recommend again the baseline basketball, which is really fun. It's kind of a quicker play game from John Turnbull, and the player of the game from Downey, and also the regular season basketball. Those would be my three I would recommend aside from the bank shot.
sure.
Um, and Crew Fan says matchup will be the NBA will be definitely one to check out. Yes, it will be
Yeah,
absolutely.
there's
I would
always that
even
little confidence, even though the
yeah
game hasn't appeared in
yeah
our presence too much. So you hope for the best, just like Bank Shot. I remember the Bank Shot buzz is what I did a couple videos on a few years back. It's like, oh, Bank Shot's going to be great, and it's turned out it's gotten better as the years have gone by because Joe's made little changes and little things, little suggestions for the number of cards to play every 6 minutes, which has always been its hamstring area. It's like, well, you get the right accuracy of stats if you have this many cards versus that many. But I think we're seeing the same thing with ST's game. We'll see how it turns out, and the opinions. Everybody's got them.
yeah
They're going to be
yeah.
coming in droves.
I'm willing to, even if he doesn't have an NBA season that I like, I'm still going to get it and play it because I want to play that game.
Right,
The
right.
college, I just don't like the college. I just don't like the college. And like Dee says here, basketball is just not a fast play game in a tabletop. Yeah,
I 100%
170,
agree.
200 possessions. Yeah, that's the thing there.
Right, right. And some
Um,
are longer. Yeah.
and
So
2.5 hours is fine for me. It's like watching a movie. Well, like we say, it all depends what you're doing. Like when I play Apper football, which is one of my favorite games to play, it takes me a half hour to set it up because I do an as played and I go through all the cards and I separate my offense and defense and put who's out there and calculate my defense and then get my offense in front of me and figure out, the extra guys I want to put in the game. It takes me a half hour. And then when I play the game, it's a couple of hours. And you know something? When I'm done that game, it's so good. It really is. I don't.
yeah,
That time flies by.
right.
Um, and let's see here. That's about it. So I think I'm caught up on the chat there. So, all right. Any final questions for Rod here before we let him go? We had a fun night chatting basketball on the
Oh, it's
podcast
been
and on
great.
the post game show, and finally get a chance to chat with him here. So, again, now his YouTube channel's always got the basketball going over there, and I think we've kind of got him to try some new things on the channel now.
I'm
He's
inspired now that you guys have been talking to me because I didn't really think about some of these smaller games, these quick play games. So definitely the the material, the ideas are flowing. So I will continue to do Rod's Tabletop Hoops, and I just do it for the fun of it, just sharing stuff.
Yep.
That's what I love to
That's
do.
all I do too. I have some fun
Yeah,
with it here. And Epic Dave, I'm a slower player. I keep a ton of stats, especially basketball. Yeah, and that's the thing.
yeah.
Some people
Join
don't
the
mind.
club. I'm in the same club.
Some people
Yeah,
don't mind a longer game and keeping track of
yeah,
everything, and they're there all day. But when you're done, there's been so many times, Rod, that I've played a game, whether probably hockey or football mostly, and I get done that game and it's like, I wish I kept stats for that game because that was so fun. And I know it
right.
would have taken me longer, but I'd love to go back and see some of the stats from this game.
Yeah, every game I've played of basketball, and if you'll notice on any one of my gameplay videos, there's always a score sheet in the middle or at the end or both because the stats are what makes it for me. I just want to see what they are. They don't even have to be accurate. I just want to see what happened. Did Bird go 1 for 12 from the floor? Did he go 12 for 12? I want to see all the numbers, who missed the shots, who shot good from the field, how many turnovers each team has, just all that stuff. I'm just a
Yeah.
stat hound.
Yep, it's a good time. And Ron also writes in here and says, from what research I have done, there seems to be so many good games out there. No wonder why we have a closet full of games. I would agree with that. There are
Yeah.
so many good games out there. There really
Yeah.
are.
I got
There
five or
really are.
six. I can come back to five or six of my games anytime, anywhere, and enjoy all of them. And then there's just a trickle down of I might like them less, but I still come back to them because there's just certain aspects of each game, as we discussed, bring you back to the game. A ball handling characteristic for crunch time, or just the way the inside outside columns of hoops work, or just they're all different in their own special way.
Yep, they are. And so let's talk about before we go, the Facebook page again, Rod.
Facebook is tabletop basketball board games, and I just approve people one at a time, or friends can approve friends there. And then YouTube, I got Rod's Tabletop Hoops.
Yep. And it's up to you if you want to say your last name on there, Rob. It's up to you.
Rod Hess. You can almost see Hess on my name sign way at the top of my screen there. It's a family name sign hiding behind
Oh yeah, way up
some
over
stuff.
there. Yep,
Yeah, way at
yep,
the top. Hess.
yep, yep. And D, one more question. Do you play basketball? Did you play basketball at any level?
I got as far as high school freshman basketball. That's what I did, and I was at a small school. Our school ended up due to budget cuts, it closed after my freshman year. But I did get to play. Played some point guard, played some guard there. But I love my childhood basketball was the best basketball times of my life. Just a lot of times from third grade through eighth grade, I was just kind of like, let's play some ball every day, knocking on my friend's door. Probably drove them nuts playing basketball every single day, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, all
Now
the time.
you were the king of Nerf basketball, right?
I was a Nerf king. I was also the neighborhood basketball king. I was pretty much the Bill Russell. I don't like to lose, and so I just kept playing and playing. I probably went 201 for a lifetime record on my friend's sport court. So I
That's
don't mean to brag, but I went after every rebound. I blocked every single shot. I did
yeah,
whatever I could.
yeah. And the YouTube channel, just one more time.
YouTube is Rod's Tabletop Hoops.
Rod's Tabletop Hoops. Okay.
Yep.
So that is that. Oh yeah, I suppose we never even asked you this. What's your favorite basketball team? Favorite season?
Of course, I'm from Portland, Oregon, and the Portland Trailblazers historically have been my favorite basketball season. I replayed the '77 Blazers with Fast Break by Jim Mickey games. Had a wonderful time doing that. I will have a caveat because I loved Rick Barry, a great forward for the Golden State Warriors. So they were my second favorite team for a long time, even though I'm not from the Bay Area. So those are my teams, and I'm a Cincinnati Reds baseball fan. Those are the two. Football, I'm not. I should I give that away? I'd probably create enemies if I told you who my favorite football team is. But they have a big star. They got a big star in their helmets. So, but that might give it away.
Nice. Dave Little played basketball in college too. Not on the team, but he was in college and he played basketball. So
Oh my goodness! Well, I played a lot of intramural basketball in college. I took PE as an activity multiple terms just because I love the game. It's like, oh yeah, I get to go into a nice gym with a nice hardwood floors and baskets. I did that for a number of terms in college. It's great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And Barbara, thanks for coming by. So again, thanks everybody who came by in the chat for the post game show for episode 302, talking basketball with Rod Hess. And Ron, again, thank you for spending some time with us tonight and chatting about your channel and everything going on with you.
Yeah, had a pleasure. We're in the deep part of the NBA season, and so it's kind of neat as we go into the playoffs, play some basketball games. It's definitely a lot of fun.
It is. The one thing I enjoy about playing basketball games is because I don't know much about basketball, I can just enjoy the game.
Mhm.
Whereas when I play hockey games, because that's my sport and I know more about it and the ins and outs of it, I get real critical with hockey games
Uh-huh.
because it's like I can never get the full hockey game on my table. You just can't, you know.
Right.
But with basketball, I don't know enough about it to get upset about it. So I just enjoy what I got. Do you find yourself, because you know so much about basketball, that you kind of more critical about games?
I am more critical about the games themselves. I've been playing basketball forever, and that's no big deal. But when I picked up Jim Mickey's Fast Break in 1979, I was in love with that game forever. So when I returned to the gaming genre back in 2015, Jim Mickey was the standard. Any game that I'd play other than Fast Break. So when I played hoops, I'm going, that's pretty close to Fast Break. I enjoy it. Strat-o-matic, I played that in the past. Wasn't as happy with it, but at the same time, it took me a while to come around to a lot of these games. Playing them a second or a third or a fourth time, and I really don't have that many biases toward games anymore. That's my maturation process for 2019 to now. It's like you really just see, oh, I see why they like this game now. It's not my game, but I suddenly say this game's actually a little bit of fun. So my attitude toward basketball games has changed much more than the rules and the little details and stuff. But you're right. Like one game that has a basketball ball handling characteristic suddenly strikes me as like that's like having the point guard run the offense and making that guy score versus a miss or something of that nature. So I'll be drawn back to that game for that one reason. And so, yeah, there are little details I can pick up on. I know where this creator was going versus in the past, it was all about my taste. So I really appreciate what these creators do.
Fantastic. So anyway, all right, Rod Hess has joined us here, and again, thank you so much, and thanks everybody in the chat.
Loved it.
And yeah, we'll get him back on. That's for sure. We'll get him back on, and we'll talk basketball again. Again, I don't know if we've talked basketball since episode 2 when Ron and I talked Action PC basketball. We must have talked bang shot basketball at some point. I know it's not like we never talk basketball, but not to
Right.
this length. So
Yeah.
we finally get the basketball show in.
Oh, it's
All
always
right.
a good show, no matter what sport it is, Dave. You do a great job.
We try. Thank you so much. All right, we'll talk to everybody later. Rod, hang on 1 second. We'll say properly say goodbye before we go. We have some consolation prizes. No, we don't, but I like to say that, you know. Remember they always used to do that on the game shows? Yeah, we got some great consolation prizes. See you later, you know. Maybe we'll give you a stuffed animal like they did at the Olympics.
Yep.
We'll see you later, guys.
Certificate.
Bye-bye.